Greetings and salutations, gentlemen. Today I'm just going to be doing a short live stream to look at a couple of mods. It should be relatively quick, and the last time that I was doing this, there was a problem where it disconnected midway through, maybe about 15 minutes in. If that happens again today, I will have to actually stop the stream. I'm not going to reconnect. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and disconnect altogether. So just fair warning on that. I am off screen again today because I am recording footage, and I don't want to use source record because I'm running out of storage space on my computer. It'd be a bit of a hassle to deal with that. How's it going? Trying to do two things at once here. Bit of a busy day. So I saw what looked like an interesting mod where you get some sort of samurai outfit and a guitar machine gun. So I decided to install that and look for it. It's supposed to be around Sanctuary Hills, but I'm not exactly sure where. So I'm gonna check some boxes and such. So I'm looking at a samurai armor and some weapons, as well as the T-47 power armor. I've seen it a few times while scrolling through Nexus, but I've never actually taken the time to look at it. So I was curious what all that one entails. It may end up going into my favorites list as far as mods go. But if I can't find the stuff that I'm looking for, I'll find something else to review, obviously. So for now, it's going to be a little bit uncertain. I'm looking for this samurai armor and really not finding it. So that may end up falling to the wayside. I wasn't 100% sure about that one. It's from a mod author that I haven't seen before and looked potentially a little bit low quality. So it's just something I wanted to look at because it seemed goofy and kind of fun to be able to fire a guitar machine gun at people. So figured I'd look around, but I'm not seeing it anywhere. So maybe it said it was in Vault 111. I don't know. I'll go inside, check it out. No, that's not a container, right? No. Okay. Yeah. So I've been playing Hunt Showdown lately, and my buttons are all mixed up. I always click on stuff with E on Fallout 4, but in Hunt Showdown it's F. It's gonna throw me off. If I'm not able to find the mods that I'm looking for, what kind of mods do you guys think would be best to review alternatively? This mod list has over 240 plugins, so there's a good chance I'll be able to find some stuff that you'd like regardless. Come with me, Rex. I have a mission for you, seeing as you're here anyway. I've mentioned this, I think, in the previous live stream, but Rex, the dog meat replacer, uses the original version of dog before he got his name change. So he is actually allowed in Vault 111, peculiarly enough. And I can demonstrate his whole cryolator snatching method. It's pretty interesting to see that he was able to do more stuff in the original version of the game, and that he had a different name. I don't remember when exactly they changed it, but it's not really all that important. Anyway, if you get a couple of bobby pins, you can still go over to the combat zone and get Kate, and she'll be able to unlock it. So it's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't take that much longer. Maybe a few minutes, really. But seeing as I'm here, do I not have my call button for him? Companion whistle. What's it set to? 4? Oh, man, Rex, I was going to use my call whistle and demonstrate that. Yeah, come back here. Okay. See, I have a call whistle for him. I normally have it set to 6, but for some reason I have it on something else. Let's see here. Goodies, good stuff nearby. I think that's the one. So he should just run over and grab it. Okay, maybe it's the wrong dialogue option. Come here. Alright, any goodies? What do we got? We found something. I don't think it's the right something. I don't know. Let's keep trying. So we found something this time, which I'm guessing is the cryolator. Yep, there he goes. Took a couple of tries, but got it. The cryolator and 200 rounds. That is an old school trick you can only do with the old version of Rex, the Cyberdog, or a very early version of Fallout 4. Alright, so I didn't see anything that even remotely looks like a samurai outfit and or box or anything like that, so I don't know, maybe I won't find it. It's supposed to be somewhere around here, in or around Vault 111, but I did not locate it, so I'm going to move on. That was kind of one of those unimportant things that I wasn't really all that invested in anyway. One of the things that I am going to look at is going to be the hobby horse, but because it is correlated to or related to an unspecified quest, I have no way of knowing for sure where to go and get it. I could do the version of the mod that allows you to purchase it, but I felt by that point I might as well just, pull it out of the ESP Explorer. Looking for the hobby horse. Alright. I won't go with the modifications, but let's go ahead and take a look at the classic hobby horse. So apparently this thing drops as a quest reward. It's not specified which quest gives you this. It might be some sort of radiant thing, but either way, I just pulled it straight out of the ESP Explorer. And this is based off of the weapon from Alice, Madness Returns. It's kind of one of those wacky weapons that you can find. And according to the description in the mod page, you upgrade this thing by getting kills. I'm going to go look at the weapon workbench and see if that's the case. Maybe I'll be able to upgrade it before that, but I've seen some of the earlier versions of this weapon. I used to use it a few years ago back when I was on Xbox, but I don't really recall the specifics of how it's modified or how much damage it does or anything like that. So we'll see. I'm not allied to this settlement. and somebody else is using this. Settlement ownership. Yes, claim this settlement. Sheesh. Give me all kinds of hassle. Okay. So it does look like you just need the blacksmith and animal friend perks, which I can get those. I can get the items that I need to upgrade it. It's a little odd. What's going on, T-Rex? If you haven't ever played Alice Madness Returns and you have the option of buying it for either a very low cost or playing it on, I think it's on Xbox Game Pass, I would highly recommend it. It's a really great game. Now I just need to find... Okay, I actually have the first rank unlocked. I'm not used to that. Okay, so blacksmith and animal friend. I need more charisma. We'll just go with all three. Okay. I'm gonna give myself a bunch of materials because I'm not at my usual workstation. And yes, this is a cheap profile. I'm not. It's way too much trouble to have a genuine profile for mod showcases unless you've already completed the game. So, and then that can create glitches and things like that. So usually I'll start a new game, but this one's fine for this, at least. Well, before I go ahead and modify that, I'm actually going to record what this looks like with a different configuration of the weapon. Well, the first configuration and then the configurations after that. But I'm afraid today I am a little less prepared than I normally would be. I just decided to jump right into things and start recording. So I'm going to have to grab my batteries real quick for my Xbox controller so that I can record a little bit more cleanly. I don't think I'm going to exactly disturb the flow of the quiet live stream we've got going on here, but alright, I'm back. And now that I've got what I need, I can go ahead and set up my Xbox controller and record a little bit more smoothly. You know, a mod I probably should talk about at some point is photo mode. It is a really easy to install mod that makes everything much easier when you want to just snap some quick pictures or record some stuff. It's one of those useful plugins that I never really get to talk about. And the thing that I like most about it is that it doesn't work on the current version of Fallout 4. The current SE build, or script extender, does not support, or it doesn't, yeah, it's not supported with the most recent version. So it's one of those problematic plugins that you can't really use right now. Alright, give me a second. My controller's not jumping on. Sometimes it feels the need to give me trouble. I don't know why, but it does. And now it's saying that it doesn't want to remove it. Remove failed. Oh, God. Of course. And see, this is why I need to live stream more frequently. I'm not great at it. I might have to do this with my keyboard and mouse. That's going to be fun. Well, damn. All right. Not ideal. Okay, whatever. I'll make do. So normally, yes, I would use my controller. That's a lot more efficient, but you know, when you can't, you just don't. So I won't. I think one of my problems right now is that I'm really not getting paid to make these videos at the moment. YouTube's just kind of gone utterly against me, so I have to kind of wing it. And when I'm making these videos, I'm more or less just doing it so you guys have something interesting to watch to some degree. So, kind of the less scripted I can be and the more open to failure I am, the better off I'll be. Oh, isn't that true? I have non-stop technical issues. I don't know why it is that my computer, my controller, everything's just, it's so wonky and so rarely functions the way that I would like it to. So, and I don't know how I want to record the angle on this one. Normally I would have my controller and wouldn't be using a weapon the size of a small house. Hmm. What would be a good angle? And I'm kind of less worried than I used to be about the content as well. It's just not that big of a deal. I do some like Fallout New Vegas stuff that does not rely on a lot of the fancy editing that I do here, which makes me think that a lot of the fancy editing that I do for Fallout 4 is deeply unnecessary. I don't like where I'm at though. It's not a good environment. This thing is huge though. It blocks out like half the screen. I don't know, something about 30, 35-ish percent. It's enormous. Hmm. I'll find somewhere a little higher up. Ultimately, I'd like to get a lot more relaxed about my lives. Yeah, that ought to be fine. I do wish that was a little bit more precise, but okay, whatever. And, all right, that ought to be fine right there. Yeah, good enough. All right, that'll do for that. Maybe I'll do one with the weapon on his back too. It's actually a bit better of a view. Can see it a little more cleanly. I can assure you the hobby horse has. Uh, what is it? Alice Madness Returns is one of those crazy games that is just almost indescribable in its environment, and this is one of the iconic weapons from it. I actually met a woman at one point that had a tattoo based off of that game for the time bomb that you can put on it. It was one of the silliest things I've ever seen somebody tattoo on their body, but you know, do whatever you want. Like Like, if that's what you want to spend your money, your time, and your skin on, you know what? You do you. Never gonna judge a person for making the life choices that make them happy. And it's a good conversation starter. Now I'm going to go hit something with this. For science. Oh, I see how it works. It has the most entertaining sound effect of all time. Yeah. I'm gonna get killed by bloat flies, I assure you. Get away from the bloat flies, and the humans start shooting at you. I'd say that was moderately successful. I'm bleeding. In the future, I'm going to get rid of the mod list that I'm currently using. I was replaying it, but then I stopped. So there's not really a whole lot of point in me having it installed right now for while I'm doing mod showcases, because I have better locational damage on. I take bleeding damage and require chems for healing and all kinds of nonsense. That is not really important to actually live streaming or doing mod showcases. But then again, if YouTube continues to treat my mod showcases like, second class citizens, then I may not end up doing any more of them at some point. They're not really worth the time. I already have a mod list that I'm quite satisfied with, so personally, I don't really care to keep looking at mods, but, if I'm doing them for other people, that's perfectly fine. I just can't do it for free. I have, rent and food that it needs paying for. So, it's one of those things where it is going to have to fall to the wayside if I have to find another way to get compensated. In that case, though, I would probably do some other content, like vanilla-based stuff, more vanilla-based stuff, because that has been successful. I have seen that working pretty well. Even talking about the hollow rifle mod, actually, in relation to a hidden bunker, was pretty successful. A lot of people were a little confused that nobody knew where it was already, but I think that the vast majority of people had no idea that bunker was there to begin with. And because it is a vanilla bunker that a lot of people aren't familiar with, it had a level of intrigue to those viewers, as well as some interest in the mod itself, and for people who already have the mod installed but never knew where the hollow rifle was. Sure, you can look at the mod page to find it, but sometimes you want to find things on your own. In fact, most of the time, I like to find things on my own, and I don't actually bother looking at the mod page at all. That's why most of the time you don't hear me talking about legendaries, or if I talk about a legendary mod or weapon, you'll probably hear me talking about it after I've already talked about the original version of the weapon. I'll usually do those reviews separately. Because I prefer to find things all on my own. One of the weapon mods that I haven't talked enough about was the Light Machinery attack, the Fallout New Vegas version. It's a remake of that weapon. but it has legendary weapons as well, and I found one of them in Nuka World. And I have the footage recorded for it, I just, for whatever reason, have not gotten around to talking about it. And I died of some... Oh, wow. That is the most accurate I've ever been. Bloody hobby horse. I will absolutely die if I fight these guys while not on God mode. Ah, the up close and personal strategy. Hit him with a toy horse. This man sure could take a beating. And that's exactly what I thought he had on him. This is from the Bolt Actions of the Wasteland mod that recently came out, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. It is absolutely amazing. It's a recreation of the Varmint rifle from New Vegas, but it has a whole bunch of other variations and other weapons as well, like the 308 or 32 hunting rifle from Fallout 3. Really good in mod. A lot of diversity to the modifications. Again, haven't found time to talk about it yet. Don't know why. It's an amazing mod. Plenty to say about it. But for some reason, some things just slip my mind every time. Maybe I'll make a video about it this weekend. Alright. As fun as watching me beat up mole rats is, I think I'm going to record a little bit of B-roll footage of these alternate variants of the mod, just, or even take a quick picture, because that can be done. Sometimes when I'm feeling extra lazy, that's what I'll do. Just take a photo of it, or screenshot, and then I'll just do some panning shots or something. Kind of use keyframes to move the image around, like if that tree wasn't in the way. Come here, Rex. Let's say that. There we go. So, I'll just snap a picture like that, and then use keyframes to move it around, and that tends to be enough. Or like that. And then I can just move the image around with keyframes, especially because shorts have kind of a limited perspective, and that tends to be okay. Either I can start out closer, or I can move in closer, or whatever I feel like doing. And it saves me a lot of effort not having to record B-roll footage. And one thing that I have been learning a lot about as far as YouTube goes is that you really don't have to do a lot of the complicated, fancy stuff that people tend to opt for. So I tend to avoid those things as much as possible. But sometimes I fall into the trap myself, and that never really goes well. I'm kind of curious, what is the difference between these two versions? I think one is white. The other nice thing about just opting for a picture is that I can also use it in the thumbnail. So that can always be nice. Or if I put the right keyframes on it, I can just make it a more interesting image like this, where I'm really just showing up close to it. It also helps you get a good look at the textures, whereas when I'm moving, there tends to be some sort of motion blur, so it can be a little bit more difficult to see what I'm actually looking at. That thing's pretty epic, though. The Cantering Hobby Horse. So they're named based off of the speed of motion. You've got trotting, cantering, and galloping. That's interesting. Well, it's interesting to me. I don't know about anybody else. I cannot speak to your preferences. Right. There we go. Probably going to find a slightly better angle on that one. And turn off freeze time. And then just move this gently back.
Hey, good to see you again. I was hoping you'd show up.
I'm sorry,
Let's sit
Preston.
down.
I have no time for you.
Pretty nice place she's found for us. I think we could settle down here. Make it a place to call home. What do you think?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty epic weapon. And I'm sure that anybody who's seen me doing New Vegas videos will see that I do this a lot, where I just either walk the character away from the camera or towards it, whatever. And that tends to work out fine. Unless, of course, you have Preston Garvey trying to talk to you.
You've got to look past what it is to what it could be. We've got water, plenty of space. Should be pretty defensible. I can see it. Garden plots over there.
Man, I don't want to talk to you right now. Yeah, that expression encompasses everything that I feel. Leave me alone. All right. This man, even being part of the NCR, it does not detract from how annoying he can be. Not enough, at least. I do love the new gear, though. He looks a lot more formal and, you know, trustable. Like he actually has some sort of credibility. He doesn't. He's a moron. But that's okay. I mean, if your leader leads you that poorly that many times, it's time to get a new one. Alright, I'll have to make do with that stuff. So, I am down one mod where I wasn't able to find the samurai outfit. So, if you have suggestions for other stuff you'd like me to look into, this is the time. I have to look at where the T-47 is located. I've already forgotten where it's supposed to be. One leveled set can be found south of Fort Hagen in one of 3 metal buildings. The unique set is split into 4 parts. Each obtained it's obtainable in different parts of the map. Go to Nick Valentine's Detective Agency for a riddle of hints. Or, spoilers, Abandoned Shack, Quincy Ruins, Church, Torso, Sentinel Site. That will take me all day. Damn. Okay, well, guess I'll be here a while. Alright, let's start with the Abandoned Shack. That's somewhere, right? Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll start at Nick Valentine's agency and see if they give me quest markers or something where I can go and find them. It's a good place to start out at least. I always avoid Nick because he also annoys me, but sometimes you just gotta
What have you
get
been
over
for
it.
real, Riley? Where's my brother?
I swear I'm not a synth. Don't shoot me, for God's sakes. We're family. Kyle, no!
Show's over.
My own brother.
There are no sense in Diamond
If you hadn't
City. Hear me?
Murder is my hobby.
You folks and your damn paranoia. At least someone in this town did more than just stand. Does anyone fight back? Institute has to have you. What? You mean?
Told you your luck wouldn't last forever. His ties. Come on, Nick.
This woman, jeez. How you doing, Tyler? So we've got the mysterious stranger
The bills. Huh. Forget the bills.
and quantum steel. I'm guessing that's the one. West of the ship, in a land far south, where marshes rise, there beeth a ship broken in sand. West of it liveth a town struck in
Detective
hardship,
secretary.
but easy to find.
Find another job.
For where you meet God, you will shake his hand. Number 2, The Wonder of the New World. These are incredibly non-specific. And seeing as I've already cheated to find out where it is, I don't need to worry about it. But yes, that is where you will find the hints. I don't think I would end up actually finding the armor based off of those hints, but, I'm sure somebody would. I've just never really cared enough. Oh, I remember the midday coffee. Those were the times. I'm pretty sure it was Fort Hagen, right? I'm on God mode. I remember now. South of Fort Hagen, in one of the middle buildings. Okay. South. That's where I thought it might be, but wasn't 100% sure. I see it. There she is. So this is the T-47R, Standard Edition. Sorry again for the disruption. I forgot to bring OBS back up. Okay. So what is this nuclear sunset? That's not something I've heard of. Of course, I'm out of the loop on just about everything. I live under a rock. Oh, thank you, Rex. How nice of you. He's just making sure that I have a good look at him. I'm not the only one. Woo! Ah, that's where I've heard of that from. What's the size of the mod list? I've got to say this is one of the cooler T40 series power armors I've found thus far. And there are some pretty great ones. The Tribal Power Armor is a personal favorite. The Mobius Legion Power Armor is excellent to look at. Not very strong, but great otherwise. The Sierra Power Armor kicks absolute ass. The Prototype Medic Power Armor for Fallout 4 is pretty stellar. And then there is the Storyteller's Power Armor, which is also T40 series. And that is probably all of the best T40 series power armors. That should be fine to take a photo there. There we go. Let's remove the background. I've got to admit, this is a very clean looking power armor. Whew, that's a whole lot of mud, this man. Eventually, I'll find the storage space to do something like that, but that is quite a lot. I tend to like to keep things relatively simple as far as my New Vegas mod list goes. My 4 is pretty big, but New Vegas, I like to keep it nice and clean. Okay, so I love the attention to detail in this power armor with little things like this. With the canisters, they're looking pretty stellar. Yeah, there's just a ton of little details here. Good stuff. Alright. Now that I've had a closer look at that, I can move on over to my normal recording position. Nordhagen Beach time. I've seen Lore Out, but having looked it over pretty significantly, there's a lot of stuff in there I would not want in my Fallout. A lot of things with some significant bugs and some other issues with it. The mod list that I've made works really well for me. I don't really ever get any crashes, even when I'm doing mod testing and just throwing random stuff in and out of it. It performs really well. So I'm probably going to end up sticking with that myself, but at some point maybe I'll try something else. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Sony got rid of mods entirely. That's just the kind of thing that they seem inclined towards doing. And they don't have a happy mod community at the moment anyway, so it really would not be that unlikely. I do wish that they would just expand the mod limit on there and allow people to have stuff with custom assets, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm supposedly under attack, but I don't know where from. Oh, just take my power armor, why don't you? Bub. He's just decided to become one of the Warhammer guys. Yeah, my collection's technically listed on Nexus, but you have a lot more trouble when you install things separately, or there's a higher likelihood of difficulty. So, I mean, you can technically download it, but the version that I use is also modified, so it's a little bit different. But the base is available. I think I'm going with Brotherhood Black here. Paint. Here we are. There's a lot more room for modification as far as power armor goes. If I was ever to make mods of my own in the future, that is definitely where I would focus, particularly on animation for power armor, because I think there would be a lot of really cool stuff you could do. Like, again, combat takedowns for unarmed or things like that, which I've seen in Fallout New Vegas, but never 4, which, again, kind of blows my mind that you can get stuff in New Vegas that is just completely unavailable in this game. There's a mod, I think it's the Ezekiel Project, that allows you to kick people when you're in power armor. And it's not just like your basic, forward kick, although that is an option. There's one where you can actually do a spinning kick. Actually, I might be thinking of something vanilla, but I know you can do a forward kick, and then I know that you can do a sort of like a solid snake style choke out on dudes, which is pretty cool. I really like that. You have to sneak up behind your enemy, and then you can bring them down. Yeah, I need to switch over to Wabajak for sure. I've been doing a lot of Vortex stuff in the past, and it never goes as smoothly as I would like it, and I've heard a lot of people say that Mod Organizer 2 and Wabashak are just way better. And I've been using Vortex mainly because I have a large mod list that's already installed to it, and it works really well, so I didn't want to move it to something else, but if I delete the entire thing from my system, I may as well move over to Mod Organizer 2, because that's what I use for New Vegas. So then I would be a little bit more isolated, have things in a better organized fashion. Rex, buddy, you're just the absolute best. I love you, that's what. So yes, when I'm getting lazy, I'll do things like this, where I'll just put my power armor in the frame and use that for my footage, because for whatever reason, people find this very appealing. I don't know what that is, but it's something. So, at times like this, where my controller is not functioning, it's one of those ways that I can cope. And I can do something like this, where it's simple. I don't really need to do anything special. I'll probably pull back a little bit to like here-ish. Here should be good. Give it some angle. And that should pretty much cover me there. But just for the sake of it, let's go ahead and put in some here. I'm not sure about the Naruto Run mod. It could be on Xbox, but I don't recall if I actually Googled that. So I'd say there's a decent possibility of it, but without looking at Bethesda.net, actually, screw it. I'll check for you. It's gonna take me 3 seconds. Bethesda.net, Fallout 4. You'll be looking at my pause screen for a couple of seconds. Just hold with me. Naruto Run. We got nothing else to do. Okay. So I am not seeing the Naruto Run mod. I am guessing it is not available. And then I forgot to bring OBS back up, so give me 1/2 second here. In case anybody hasn't seen the Naruto Run mod, I'll demonstrate it here. Let me, actually, I'm going to quickly move my camera out. For the settings that I have for recording Power Armor are just a little bit off, but I have this cool mod called Custom Camera that lets me change all of my camera settings so I can have it a little bit closer, further away, however I want, to get a better angle when I'm recording this footage. Oh, that was lower. What am I doing? Mod configuration, custom camera, power armor, back to not 100. That would be right up next to it. So -15. Do I have it? Melee zoom, distance. The minimum distance the camera can be must be lower than the maximum. Okay. So I'll probably raise that up to, let's say 65. Not sure how that's going to look, but screw it. I don't know. But for the most part, I have a lot of customization with the camera. I don't know all of the settings or how they apply, but you got this cool thing called Naruto running in Power Armor. It's absolutely brilliant. We covered it the last time I was live streaming. This was the main thing that I was looking at, along with the Sonic Neuralizer, which the short for the Sonic Neuralizer came out today. And the Naruto run was actually the reason why I started looking at the T47, because I wanted something that looked cooler than the T60 power armor I was using, and had a little bit more of an anime-esque appearance. And this just feels like one of those crazy mods you never expect to actually see. But I would love to see more cool stuff like this with power armor being a little bit more diverse. So yeah, I'm just running around in power armor for a second here. And I think that because this power armor looks absolutely awesome, it works really well. And then something like this will work just perfectly for both a thumbnail as well as for some footage. Yeah, I think that first one worked perfectly fine. Titans of the New West really opened up my eyes to what you could do with power armor, having seen it really feature some of the coolest animations available, and having them work with the Ezekiel project and its takedown animations and whatnot, really illuminating for how just absolutely brilliant that is. There we go. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this one. This is one of those moments where I wish my controller was working. And that sound, anytime that I click the F12 key, it's me taking a screenshot, in case you didn't know what that is. I too have always been a little bit hesitant to actually use the power armor, but I do tend to collect it, which is a lot of the time why I have power armor suits installed in my game. Not so that I can necessarily use them, but so that I have a reason to go out and explore. And that will be a perfect thumbnail. I have yet to see Operation Sunburst. It's in my watch later list, but I have not quite found time. I should, I don't know, grab a pizza or something and chill out and give that a watch. All right, let's see. We've got a Patriot option. I think that's pretty cool. But which one is going to be cooler, the Lone Survivor or the Patriot? I'm guessing it's going to be Patriot, but we'll find out. I'll go ahead and check that out. Okay, I was already on this one. Brotherhood Black, Patriot. Nope, wrong one. I do love looking at power armor though. Patriot, okay. And Let's see, we've got Brotherhood of Steel, Enclave. I always go Enclave, you can't stop me. Especially since the introduction of America Rising 2, where you can actually play a good Enclave campaign. It's brilliant. Alright, that is the most gaudy, obnoxious power armor I've ever seen. It is very American. I love it. Okay, I dig this. It has lightning bolts. I'm gonna feel like I'm going so much faster when I do my Naruto run. Yeah, this thing, it's a peach. Look at all that detail. All right. I'm gonna get rid of my menu there. Just check this thing out real close. It has lightning bolts, the Enclave insignia, all kinds of little scuffs and marks, some stars. Oh yeah, damn straight. That's style right there. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I was actually watching some of the earlier clips about a year ago, maybe more, and I saw some pretty cool stuff in there. So I'm definitely looking forward to it once I have a minute. Oh yeah, that's some American power armor right there. When you're just too armored to be hidden. That is all manner of sexiness. And the perfect thing for some Naruto running. Alright, that took a little bit of doing. For some reason, I cannot enter photo mode while I am Naruto running. Not easily, at least. Okay, so I'll probably go from the side this time. I think I'm going to turn my character around. Get some better lighting. Yeah. Damn it. Okay. New plane. There we go. Photo mode. Bombastic. All right. And some reeds of grass are all it takes to ruin my shot. Damn. All right, all right. Let's try this again. The whole pausing thing, it worked pretty well. Let's just give this another try. I'm gonna need a running start because I gotta use both hands, and we got it. Okay, there we go. These videos take a stupidly long time to make because of stuff like this. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure I'm underground. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's get that shot there. I wish my controller would connect. I could do a panning shot around it. I might just have to save that for later, but I'll keep this idea in mind for something for the future. I do think it looks good. It's got uh, all the elements that I would need for a good looking shot. I just kind of want to be able to pan around the character or do something a little bit more clever that I can't really do with my keyboard and mouse. I can do a lot with it, but not everything. Alright, I have plenty of time to look at one more mod or to pull up the uniques at least for this one. This is the T47. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to actually go and look for all of the unique pieces because that just, God, that would be so much of a waste of my time. And I don't really care. If I were going to go and find them, it would be in an actual playthrough of the game, which, I'm not doing any playthroughs right now, so that would be a while off. So for this one, I'll go way above it, like up here, and then I will come down so that the path and speed match what I need, so that it will stop before I hit the ground. Like that. And this time I'll go a little bit further away, and then get a running start, and up the power armor. And one of those will work nicely. And then I can do a shot like this as well. Doo-doo-doo. So it should be good if I use that. Change my depth of field a little bit. Adjust this outward. And if you ever want to make your own Fallout videos, feel free to steal my style. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I have taught plenty a person how to do this kind of stuff. These are about the most rudimentary cinematography skills that a person can have. So I am by no means against it. Oh, Rex, you always have to be a part of it, don't you? Alright, buddy. Now that thing is as anime as they come. I will again probably have to jump in and do some sort of recording after I'm done here with my controller working, but usually when my Bluetooth doesn't connect, it means that I have to actually restart my computer, which would be a huge pain in the ass right now, because obviously I'm live streaming, so that wouldn't work. And then I need to increase my... Whoop. Yeah, I just kind of realized this looks like a giant bughead. Am I right? Kind of looks like a beetle. Oh, it's definitely cool. Ain't nobody arguing about the cool factor going on here. More Naruto running. Alrighty. And it goes really well with the Sonic Neuralizer from the last stream. Look at that bad boy. Look at him standing out perfectly against this armor. Absolutely brilliant. I'm actually going to slow down my camera speed a little bit to 1.5. Hopefully that will do it. I will not trust it to, but alright, there we go. I do like that with my Xbox controller, I can offset the speed of my downward movement by adding it a little bit of upward. Can kind of allow me to measure out the exact amount of speed that I want going up versus away if you have all three controls working at the same time. I think I'm going to go way higher than that. Alright, then I'm going to go back and I'm way too close. Okay, so I have to be like way up here and then back a little bit. And now we're going to have it in a second. And there we go. Once the depth of field kicks in, boom. Alright, should have roughly 2 or 3 good seconds of content there. So I'll probably do something a little different. Let's try a little bit higher. And I'll just pull away from the armor. Should be easy. Alright. That should work nicely. I'm just going to take a quick picture for potential future thumbnail, because that's what I gotta do. Or for the next live stream. I don't know. One of those. Pretty dope, though. Altogether, good stuff. Really cool power armor. Just gonna do some quick walking. Alright, that should do it. Okay, so we do not have a third mod to look at, but I will go over my list of stuff real quick. So I have plenty of different things. I've covered the G11, Miniman Watchtowers, that's Otolino's, Daniel the Remnant. I have the T60 pistol. I checked that out at one point, but honestly, it was really mediocre. It's free, so I mean, it really doesn't matter all that much, but as far as weapon mods go, this is one of the ones that I'm not necessarily all that interested in. It looked a lot cooler in the actual mod list than what it is when you're actually using it. I think it's just a 45. I mean, it's big, it's bulky, it's just kind of not really all that important. Get some of the most interesting commenters. I mean, they comment on nothing related to the content, but yes, they do get some measly amount of my attention. Yeah, that's pretty much the T60 pistol. It's nothing all that impressive, honestly. In any case, I don't really have a plan for anything in specific that I would want to cover. Those two mods, they do seem to work pretty well. The hobby horse is cool. It's got the whole, you know, sound effects when you're swinging, and it's got a pretty good number of modifications based off of the actual in-game images or textures of the weapons. So there is some cool stuff to look at there. I love that there's just one random guy spamming nonsense. See, when I look insane, when I comment random stuff or create a post that makes me look like a lunatic, I just refer to these types of individuals who really think that they're making some sort of stand. It's I don't know what commenting on a uh, YouTube live stream of a guy who gets no views is going to do for you, but I'm if you want, you go right on ahead. I don't know what impact you're going to make on the world with that, but you go right on ahead. Like I said, you do whatever you want, man. There's not enough people watching this video for me to care, so now see the real question is, what if I had already converted to Islam, and you acting like a lunatic made me not want to do that? I could convert back. You never know. In any case, I don't really have anything in specific, like I said, that I wanted to cover. There's really just the T47, the samurai thing that I didn't actually get to cover because it didn't show up near Sanctuary Hills, and then the hobby horse. So if you guys aren't looking for anything else specific in my list, I mean, I've got a lot of cool stuff here that I could look at, but I can just close out the stream. Oh yes, my conversion is in the process. I've got some weapons, some armor mods, but otherwise, I think I'll just close on down because there's nothing else on my list, honestly. And I'm pretty sure that the samurai mod just didn't work, so I got a whole lot of nothing to demonstrate at this point. Alright, weapons. What do you think? We could do modern. We could go with the AKM. The select blaster is a pretty good one, but I'm pretty sure I already recorded for that. There is the I've already talked about the Winchester Model 1873. The M1918 is a okay mod. I wouldn't necessarily say it's amazing though. Select shotgun I've covered. There's the STG-44. That one's a pretty cool one. Has a custom ammo type. Some good modifications on it too. And then I've got the Cage Breaker power armor. I think I'll skip that one for now, though. I think the only thing that I would really be game for would be the good old-fashioned STG-44. Spun's fun, eh? Alright, so we got this bad boy out. I don't think that it works properly. You know, I've never lost my power armor. I know, because I have several of them. Alright, so the STG-44 is one of those just absolutely iconic weapons. And it is very well represented in this version of the mod. I will have to run away real quick to demonstrate it because I'm now allied to this settlement. Alright, this thing is one of my absolute favorite weapons. It's just a joy to actually use. It's got a relatively slow rate of fire, and it's clunky as all hell, but it has some cool animations, and it uses the 762 ammo. You can either use the normal NATO, or you can use the version that comes with it, which is a custom ammo type. It has great sound effects, too. Loud as all hell, though, compared to any other weapon that I'm using right now. I think I'm on God mode still. Yep. Yeah, the sound effects of this thing are pretty cush. Kind of like an old cash register when it's reloading. You get that nice sharp clink in there. It's pretty good. Alright, and then I'll do some panning shots. I'm gonna raise my speed a little bit here, though. I'm honestly kind of surprised I've never talked about this weapon before because it is one of my absolute favorites. It's right up there with the MG42 and MG34 mod. Really great quality. Pretty sure they're not by the same person, but yeah, that's okay with me. Very similar, though. Alright, I had to slow it back down. Alright, a little bit lower. Yeah. 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 I'll have to slow it down when I go for that, but yeah, I used to be on Xbox myself about 7 or 8 years ago. So I remember those days. It was definitely tougher to be a Fallout mod enthusiast back at that time. But what was much worse was the old Xbox 360 days. No mods. Yeah, didn't mean for that to be as loud as it was. Oh, I forgot this one has custom running animations. And custom equipping and unequipping animations. Good, good. Alrighty. Now, let's see about modifying this bad boy. Okay, so probably my three favorite weapons of all time are the Borchardt C93 pistol, the automatic STG-44 here, and the MG-42 and 34. I know a lot of other people are not going to agree with me, but given that it is subjective, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say that I'm allowed to have that opinion. I like World War II stuff. It's always been a fascination of mine. I'm digging it. And yes, there are alternate, better, cleaner, and dirtier looking versions. The standard is just worn, but there's a frozen, trench warfare, water damage, burned, factory, all kinds of stuff. I like the chrome. It's sharp. You can put a charm on it. You need bottle caps. I have none. You can put a scope on it. The Nidar reflex sight is pretty good. I'm not sure about the ZF4. I haven't used that. Probably never will. And you can even put a 45 round capacity on it, which is a little bit unreasonable, but it's also kind of goofy. I love the M1 Grand. That was a great mod. They have this machine, and it cripples enemies. It is a very potent weapon early in the game, and you can get it really easily. I think I'm going to go with the standard. Automatic hardened armor piercing. Alright, let me get rid of some heavy stuff. Yeah, you're talking about the one from Diacu, right? I think he has a classic weapons pack. Need. Let's see here. 762 rounds, so items and equipment, ammo, guns. 1,000 rounds should do it. I'll get rid of my menu. Yeah, I like Diacute stuff. Am I still on God mode? I am. That sounds sick. I've always been a huge fan of Halo too. Not just also Halo, but the game Halo 2. Hmm. There we go. In possession. It's always hard to get that exactly, so I'm just gonna leave it at 61. NACX looks pretty good for sure. I use Vivid Weathers instead because it has a darker kind of sharper appearance to it, and I use the Vivid All-in-One texture pack as well. Again, kind of for that darker, grittier appearance. Has a lot of contrast. I kind of like that. And together they work well, giving you a really solid overall appearance. Obviously, they're made by the same person, so yeah. The style they are looking for is represented here. All right. I'm going to run around and shoot some stuff real quick and then back save after. I have depth of field on still. It's distracting as all hell. Alright, alright. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Yep, there you go. Alright, that's the end of my mega interesting Fallout mod showcase run. I think that gives me pretty much all the footage that I need to cover those, so I'll go ahead and close out of here. If you guys are interested, I could switch over to a different game and do some Hunt Showdown solo. I have a perk that I want to try out and experiment with because I don't understand how it works, and I keep getting killed in teams of two because of it. So, if you guys are interested, I can move over to that. Hunt Showdown is an extraction shooter. So you've got a lot of antique weapons and pretty harsh combat. It's PvP PvE. So it's player versus enemy versus NPC. Or like, yeah, NPC enemies. Most of the time I use a bow and arrow, so it can be pretty fun. It is, in fact, one of the only games that I know of that has good archery combat. Alright, I think that for no other reason than because I can, I will. Alright, let's close out that, and... Yes, this is me. For anybody who's wondering, I am actually usually on screen when I do things that are not related to Fallout recording. And I'll go ahead and put myself over the game. So hello. I'm not actually all that nervous about showing my face on screen. It's never been much of a problem for me. It's just that I'm recording footage that I need to be able to use separately later for mod showcases, so I can't appear on screen when I'm doing that. This, on the other hand, will not be used, so should be good. There was a time when I was using Source Record and I was recording the video footage from Fallout 4 separately, and then I was able to overlay myself on top of it during mod showcases and kind of appear and disappear. And that worked pretty well. Showdown. For some reason. Okay, there we go. I wasn't getting any audio for a second there. I thought I was going to have to just close out. Okay. So let's get me a hunter. I usually go with somebody with a dark color. And let's see. I have a lot of options, but I think that my favorite previously, I used to do a setup with a shotgun alongside my bow and arrow. But I don't actually see the double barrel that I used to use. I wonder if they removed it. Let's see. I've got special, explosive fire, poison. Yeah, I think they removed my shotgun. Shells? They did. Look at that. That's crazy. Because I used to have this really great double barrel that I would use, and I think they replaced it with the drilling hatchet, which I've never used. It was, oh, okay, here it is. Actually, the Rival 78 Shorty. I used the Gator version. And then I would use fletched shells. And then along with that, I could do some poison arrows. I don't usually run out, so I should be good. And if I have my shotgun, I should be fine as well. So I'm actually going to overwrite my current with that. Yes. So I never end up using my katana. Excluding the rare occasions where I do something like some sort of ghoul slaying or something like that. Okay, so there's this perk that I'm looking for. Get a health and stamina boost when your team picks you up solo. Double the effects of investigated clues. I'm looking for one that revives me. It's a solo only perk, I think. Remotely manipulate, interact. No. Well, it wouldn't be in that category. Solo, you can revive your downed hunter, trigger a restoration upon revive. Burn one trait. I probably should have gone for resilience, but this should work fine. Okay. And just for the sake of it, I'll go with teams of 2. And I'm going to turn that way down because it's probably going to be too loud. So I've been running into this problem where people are able to revive themselves after I've already taken them out, and what seems to happen is that they have full health, which to me is a little bit unfair because if you're on teams of 2 and you get downed and your partner revives you, you don't have full health. So I don't really understand how they're able to almost instantly revive themselves and still take 150 points of damage, which is the maximum. So I kind of want to try it out myself. They also tend to revive themselves right after you've already hit them. It's almost like they know that if you shoot them, they're not going to be harmed. I don't know if that's a feature of the trait, so I'm going to give it a try. And normally I would be playing this with my flatmate, and he's not great at the game. He will not play it by himself most of the time, so he would not be able to like experiment with this. I can take 15 or 20 minutes and do that. These matches do tend to go a little bit longer than something you'd get in like Call of Duty or whatever, where it's 5, maybe 10 minutes. These usually can range anywhere between 3 and 40. I think 40 is the maximum. Used to be an hour. But I think that was a little bit overkill, and they realized it and just dialed it back a bit. So I will try not to suck, but I can't guarantee anything. I was getting absolutely demolished earlier today, and as I will be by myself, I will be at a disadvantage. Probably. Either that or an advantage, one or the other. Never really know. Oh, and of course, I do use a bow and arrow as my primary, so my likelihoods of dying do go up exponentially. It's just a little bit unfair for me to use a gun as my primary weapon. Even when I'm at my worst, if I have a firearm, I'm usually pretty good. That's why I keep to close range objects like this. Nice fletchet shell shotgun and a bow and arrow. As you can see, I also have a throwing spear. And I dig my throwing spear. Alrighty. Hey, sounds like we got action already. I wonder how far off they are, though. This game is pretty heavily strategy oriented, so it can be a little bit slower pace. Very intense, though. The objective is to track down a monster. You slay the monster, you extract with a bounty token, you win the match. There can instances be like this where there are actually 2 monsters. Multiple people can come out with the bounty, as many as 4 people. Either a team of people can come out with 2 bounties, or 4 individuals. Obviously, I don't know why I'm explaining to you that there's 4 bounties and 2 monsters, and as many as 4 people can have them. Normally, remaining quiet is a pretty integral part of it. A bow can be advantageous for that, but it is also one of the worst weapons in the game. So, if you're going to use something like a bow, you're immediately putting yourself at a severe disadvantage, because most of the time you can't actually kill a player in one hit with one of these. That would mostly be if you manage to hit them in the face. If they're not moving, hitting them in the face, not that hard. I can usually get away with it. But if you're not the type who likes to be into accuracy, a bow is probably not your deal. It's one of the tougher shooters I play. There's my arrow. Oh man, I suck. Those snapshots tend to be a lot less accurate, which is why they're good to practice. But they added a nice new little feature where you can actually find your own arrows when you're using the dark sight. So, for somebody that does a lot of archery, that is really nice. Otherwise, I'd have to go and track them down, which is a huge pain. Get some free upgrade points, because why the hell not? You pretty much don't have to have any skill anymore to, develop your character. Back when I first started out, they didn't have trait points just sitting around willy-nilly. I think they had ammo carts like that one, but they tended to have less equipment. There was no special ammo. The bow did more damage when it was first released, and it was just generally more effective. Nowadays, though, you can come in without any equipment at all and actually come out with a full loadout, which to me seems just a little pointless. I mean, sure, you could have done the same thing previously, but you weren't going in with 10 trait points either. So everything's just a little bit... Screw me. It's all a little bit more catered to. It panders to the newer players, so... That, to some degree, has bothered me for a while. And things do seem a lot slower right now than they were earlier today. No serious action yet. It's above me. Back in the day, though, you can pick up weapons, like a shovel, if you were unarmed. And absolutely wreck a dude. So I used to come in, just grab a melee weapon like that, wherever and whenever, and just pretty much lay the smack down on dudes. Take their guns, loot some caravans like that one over there, and then throughout the course of the match, I would come out way ahead, fully stocked. I have moved on to Hunt Showdown. We've already covered all the mods, actually. So no, this is no longer Fallout 4. It's a great game, relatively inexpensive. You can pretty much always get into a match. Combat's a little bit slower, though. I think I heard somebody meleeing off to the north. Can't say with 100% certainty, but... Whoa. Gross. That'd be bad. Giving yourself away when you're solo is a really, really bad choice. I'm not exactly being subtle right now, but, better than having crows literally tell people where I am. Ooh. Just a little bit of me sucking. Ah, shit. Got me to swear, too. Damn. It is really easy to give yourself away in this game. Those dogs, I'm honestly surprised they didn't start barking. And then there's another suite of them over there. I would say PC is a good bit better for modding, but Xbox is pretty much fine. Honestly, if you find the mods that you most enjoy using, I don't think it's all that big of a deal to not have access to literally thousands. Most of the time, I keep a pretty light mod list. And this will be the monster, so I am at my destination. I'm not wholly invested in taking out the enemy, though, and I'm probably not going to bother with this monster, because my main goal is to fight humans. Preferably to the point of death. So unless I wanted to hold out around here and wait for somebody to show up, it'd be a bad idea for me to go in alone and fight that creature. I'd end up damaged, it would probably take long enough that other people would show up, and then I'd be in some trouble. Probably go down to Forked River Fishery, is it? And clock another clue to the next location. Okay, so I just stepped on a stick. And the thing is, if a smart hunter were to see that stick, and I were to step on enough of them, because they are relatively close together, I could end up leaving a pretty significant trail that would allow somebody to follow me pretty much anywhere. And it would absolutely result in my inevitable death. Only certain sticks can be triggered. Ones like this one. And only if you're not sneaking. So it's good to keep an eye out. And sometimes, if you're clever, you can leave a trail of broken sticks and then circle around and flank somebody who thinks they know where you are. I've done that at least twice. It's risky, though. We got players here. So now that I know that there are players in the vicinity, they will probably also know that I'm around. And it would be advantageous to not alert them to where I am exactly. And they're fighting Spider. So either they're going to kill it relatively quickly, because that's not a particularly strong one, or they're waiting for me or someone else to show up. Because a lot of the time people will stake out these spots. It does sound like they're waiting for players, though. And they may have already found some, based on all the gunfire. So if I circle around the outskirts, I might be able to take some people by surprise, if they think that they're only dealing with one team. And I'm outside of the range of detection for the creatures, so that's good. If by some miracle I end up taking everybody out, I'll go in and fight the beast. I hear somebody out there. But I'm not 100% sure who. They might be solo. I'd say there's a good chance of it, actually. Yeah, probably. I only heard one set of footprints, unless they're really, really close together, running in sync. So it probably is just me and them. They'll know I'm closing in once I'm a little bit closer, but if they're distracted by the monster, I might get away with this. And unless they have an outsider like me, they're probably screwed. Because once I get into closer proximity, I'll either take them out with my bow or use my shotgun. My shotgun has fletchet shells, so they'll end up bleeding. I think I'll swap over. He probably spotted me. If he didn't before, he did now. He's booking it. Damn. That guy was pretty solid. He's still pretty good. So I was right, though. I do respawn with seemingly full or high health. So that is a bit strange to me, but that's all I was really looking into. And I got my blood pumping, so I do appreciate that. All right. Now that I've already looked over all the mods and gotten my little experiment out of the way, I'll go ahead and close out the stream. I appreciate anybody who watched. It's good chatting with everybody. I'll see you later.